Hello there, everybody. It's me, Chay, and welcome to the first episode of the Mythology of Shin Megami Tensei. Since we don't actually have any demons to talk to, or talk about rather in this case, although you do talk to them in Shin Megami Tensei, we're going to be talking about something else for this first episode, specifically the bizarre item in the drugstore that we saw that I didn't know what it was. It was called a gyotan. And what gyotan is, as best I can research, is actually apparently a delicacy in Japan called gyutan, literally cow tongue. It's popular in Korea too, but it's also very popular in Japan. It's apparently really healthy, which I guess it could be in a drugstore if it's really healthy, I don't know. But it's also apparently really delicious. But it's a very healthy cut of meat, popular in all kinds of dishes and all throughout Asia. Cow tongue, gyutan. It's not spelled that way, it's spelled G-Y-U-T-A-N instead of G-Y-O-U-T-A-N. I think that's a translation error, and frankly, I think that it's a different kind of translation error because I don't believe that's actually what it's talking about. Other translations of the game describe it as a cow bezoar, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the subject of our talk right now. A bezoar is similar in that it has to do with the digestive system of a cow, in this case, or an ox, or even humans can have them. Many animals can. A bezoar is essentially a stone inside of you made from the accretion of stuff in your digestive system. It's basically like a petrified poo. But usually that's a fecalith if it gets that far down. If it's much higher in your digestive system, like the small intestine, the stomach, the esophagus, it's called a bezoar. And for some reason, in antiquity, people believed that the bezoar, if you ground it up and drank it, put it in water and drank it, it would cure any poison. In fact, its name, bezoar, comes from the Persian word for antidote, which I believe is pazar. I'm not perfect on my pronunciations there, sorry. Of course, that's ridiculous, but back in the day, who knew anything about anything, right? So, for a long time, at least until the 1500s, we believed that the bezoar, or at least some people believed, could cure anything, any poison at least. In 1567, the French surgeon Ambroise Paré created an experiment to test this out in a really interesting way. Just so happened at the time, a cook at his king's court got caught stealing silverware and was sentenced to death. His death was to be hanging, but at Ambrose's request, the cook agreed to be poisoned instead. So Ambrose administered a bunch of poisons and then used the bezoar on him. And the cook, of course, died horrifically several hours later because he had just taken a bunch of poison. This, however, did prove that, yeah, it don't fix it. Also, interestingly, humans aren't very prone to bezoar. Babies are prone to them from milk solidifying, but it's not usually very severe. And usually this stuff, of course, just passes most of the time. But if you eat unripe persimmons, apparently, you will get severe bezoars. They actually are so serious that they often have to be surgically removed, so don't eat unripe persimmons. However, there's actually a funny treatment for that. It turns out Coca-Cola, of all things, will actually treat bezoars, at least the ones created by the unripe persimmons. I guess it's got the chemical composition necessary to dissolve them, which is interesting. There was actually a medical study where Coca-Cola was administered as medication for these kinds of bezoars, and it worked really well. I think it was something like 95% effective. Out of like the many, many people studied, only like one person still needed surgery. Everybody else reported that they were just gone. So, it's a strange thing to think about the bezoar, but once upon a time, we believed in all kinds of things, and medicine and mythology were kind of inseparable for a time. In ancient Greece, even, we thought that disease was just brought on by curses from the gods, and you had to pray to get rid of it. If even that. There was no concept of disease as we understand today, and there was no concept of poisons and antidotes in quite the same way. Bezoars went on to have use in alchemy and all kinds of other things. Today, they don't have much use except in Chinese herbal remedies, where they're still believed to cure poisons, because in China, herbology and mythology are very, very closely tied at times. In Western medicine, they're not recognized as doing anything to my knowledge. But once upon a time, they were an important facet of life. So important, in fact, that I was able to find an image of a gold ring from the 1700s that has a Bezoar set as its stone. So it must have had some worth to people to have such a thing, that you would set it in a golden ring. Usually you'd set a very valuable stone in a gold ring. So, who knows? Maybe it does have some minor health benefit, drinking ground up Bezoar? Probably not, considering that you can have them in your body to no real health benefit. But until the study is done on what they can do for you and what they're in general comprised of, we'll probably never really know. But that's what we have to talk about today. Just got Bezoars for you in-game. They just heal more health than medicine. That's all they do. Next time, hopefully, we'll have some demons to talk about and demonology. But for now, bye-bye.